Here we go. We are live, everybody.
Welcome to Bullish Bears, where we give you the dish.
I still get a kick out of that. Love it. Right on.
Nut.
I had to do it. I had to.
So,
Anyways, I'm Devin. That's Jeremy and Stone. We're here to talk to you.
oh
Jeremy,
man.
do you wanna hit our bullet points starters?
Yeah. I wanted to touch base on. Well, let me walk it back a little bit and start from the beginning, halfway. So let's go with over the past couple days, I've been trading my butt off in the ES, and there were some people even worried about me. They're like, "Dude, you're gonna burn out. Slow down." I'm like, wait. Let me tell you, I have never felt more relaxed, collected, and concise with my trading ever. I just had like really two really good brain days in a row. Felt a little fatigued today, but I bounced right back. I'm feeling great now. I'm ecstatic because I'm like going and looking at all my trades. I'm like, wow, I did really good. So I was just kind of touching base on that, and I was just like, well, this would be a great topic to talk about with us, and we're kind of working into the simple fact that we can sit here and make it look so easy. And when we're running high frequency trades, we're saying, hey, this is the level, that's the level, this is the pivot, whatever. There's your pattern. We can sit there and chip that stuff off all day long. It's what we do. It really has to be kind of looked at with a bit of scrutiny on the trader's end to not go and try to chase every single scalp. I mean, I'm over here scalping 3-pointers over and over and over again on the ES. That's just kind of my MO. And when I get those 10, 20, 50-point runs, I'll let them run. I don't have to close them. I can just sit here and scalp them, look over at my longer term charts, pick off, okay, where's the next level? Where's the next level? I can usually get a pretty good grasp of whether I need to cut it or let it run. And I was looking back, and I'm looking and kind of counting through my trades. I'm like, okay, a bad trade here and there, and it worked out to be like for every 10 good trades, there was 2 bad trades. And that, when you're trading high frequency like that, if you aren't very proficient at cutting the losers fast enough, those 2 bad trades and out of 10 other good trades can really rip down all of your profit, and you just end up giving it back. So high frequency trading is not for everyone, and certainly it's got a crawl, walk, run. You'll eventually get there, but don't just jump right into that. Take your time and just feel it out. This takes about a year to really get into the swing of things of basic price action trading. You go into do stuff that's just one after another, minute by minute trades. You're going to get chopped up. Don't jump into that. That takes more than a year to get into, I'll tell you. And then there's options trading.
But it's taken you like 5-6 years to get to this point where you're at now, right?
Yeah, that's about I spent more or less. I spent a year or so kind of learning and reading stuff. I had my account open, just sitting there idling, and I didn't start trading. My first trade took place on December 14th, 2017. And that was my first trade ever. And I spent probably most of that year up to that point learning everything I possibly could before I took my first trade. So that's kind of the thing. You got to take some time, do some paper trading in the meantime. But your first live trade, you're going to remember it, and you're going to learn a lot from it too. But in the meantime, you'll get to a point. If you want to go with price action trading, you want to scalp those little 3-pointers all day long, go for it. That's a goal. Set it as a goal. That's what you want to attain. Hit it. You want to go and be an options trader, options seller, wheel trader. There's so many paths you can take in trading, and there's a tool for everything. Over this time, I've learned a lot of separate tools, and I've learned to apply them into different market conditions. And like when the market's choppy and volatile, I'll go scalp the ES. If the market's smooth setting up swing trades, I'll go swing trade. It can really be just a matter of I pick a tool out of my toolbox to do the job. I've been a mechanic for a while to do that, so I got a lot of tools.
Yeah, but as far as it goes, doing longer term, getting a grasp of the price action, but understanding it over the long term and doing a lower frequency is more what we're trying to move towards, right, Jeremy?
Right.
For
And
starters, in order to crawl.
that's it. Crawl. And in that crawling, you can still do a lot of passive trading. You don't really have to be like Johnny on the spot with adjusting your trades all the time. You can go and like if you once you get this wheel trade down and you've got all the steps needed to kind of escalate your trading ability to start running those, that's when things kind of change and you can realize that it really doesn't take high frequency trading. You do a wheel trade with 2 trades a day at most, and
Yeah.
that's pretty easy. So you look into
And that means that, but that also means that you really only have to check twice a day, right?
pretty much.
You don't.
I
And
mean,
how long would you say it usually takes sitting in there and watching the chart?
for the
Like
most
at those
part,
points in the day.
when I was still working full time, I take a good, half hour, 45 minutes or so just studying charts and planning out what I thought was a good trade. And then I could go and flip my app open and queue limit orders in the after hours and just set that up. Let my orders work. If they fill in the morning, cool. If they fill, a couple hours into the trading day, fine. Just kind of autopilot. And for the long while, I could keep my phone up on my toolbox and kind of glance at it once in a while with the chart. Not everybody has that option. I mean, if some jobs you can't even look at your phone, but maybe they'll let you glance at it once in a while if you get a message or something. Kind of go out there, pop a chart up, and not quite yet. Cool.
That's why serving tables is not so bad.
Right. You can glance at it and walk between tables or whatever.
Well,
It just takes
in
a
the
second.
back.
Yeah, that
in
too.
The back, but yeah, just a second.
And I think you were going to kind of touch base on that as being kind of a great transitory job to kind of make time to trade. I'll talk about that in a minute.
As a server, you usually don't go into work until about 11. So maybe a half hour for getting going. But if you're doing the type of trading we're talking about, you only need that time anyway. And then you don't go at night. You don't go in until usually 4 o'clock at the earliest.
That make for some sweet day trading time.
Exactly. So you've got all day to day trade basically if you work the night shift. And usually, if you go into the back of house, management doesn't mind as long if you're on your phone as long as you're not on the floor.
Right.
Typically, that's just, but working at a cheesecake factory, I was clearing some good money. I'd work 4 days a week, and I was able to save enough to move cross country. So
not bad.
That's fantastic.
That's good income.
It's working part-time, and I got to play golf once a week.
There you go.
Oh, I get it. I did the same thing with music. When I started, I was in the trading room in the morning, and then I was playing afternoons and early evenings. So I'd go to sleep and get up in the morning and get in the trading room and start learning. And
great.
Yeah, it was good.
That's cool.
If you can find a way, also as far as it goes, if you're interested in serving tables, I recommend that you pay attention to what kind of cars are at the furthest area away from the restaurant directly in front of it. If they're all really nice cars, the servers are making really good money.
Yep. That's a good way to look at it. Being situationally aware is awesome, and then kind of being aware of the environment you're about to enter makes a lot of difference. I mean, I've walked into jobs, I go to take a job interview somewhere, or go even apply for a job somewhere, and I'll look at the shop, and I'll be like, this place is a rust bucket crap hole, and they've got just absolute turds in the parking lot. I don't want to work there, Yep. You go down the street, and there's you got a whole bunch of BMWs and Mercedes parked outside. Well, it's foreign cars, but I'm actually good with those, and pound for pound, they pay better. I'll work on those. Okay, cool.
Definitely. Exactly.
And this comment I just got on YouTube is that's why I drive Uber while I trade. Yeah, dude. I mean, don't trade and drive, but been there. Don't try it. But that's the point. I mean, if you find the right niche job where you can actually have a flexible schedule and make time for trading, you can learn trading with us, and that's going to be a good life balance for you to if you want to take on trading and you want a transitionary job that you can do for a living while you're learning how to trade and learning how to generate income in the stock market, dude. You're on the path to success just thinking that way. So, kudos.
Absolutely.
And then we got Stone over here. He's coming to be his own kind of Vulcan over here. He is really switching on his trading mode, man. I must be wearing. They call me Vulcan breath.
You're rubbing off on me.
Maybe.
You're rubbing off on me, and the fear of Sig keeps me straight.
There you go. It's like, yeah, I should clarify. I pull over and trade. Yeah, good man.
So what's this chart you have up?
So this
we
chart.
Got SPY up.
Yeah, I got SPY up. Well, you know what? We like to call the chart the star, don't we? So let me get on to our other thing here. There we go. We can put that up. So looking at SPY and just kind of glancing at this 1 hour chart, you can kind of see there's lots of action here. Okay, this is just looking like a big part of a long bear flag, isn't it? And we've got kind of some interesting things to see on this chart that I started drawing around. And last night I put a video out kind of with a SPY analysis, and someone was asking like, why are you even talking about this? You didn't really give a trade idea for the next day. Because we didn't have one yet. We had to have some information on the open first. And then once we got that open, we went live. We put the drawings on, and guess what? We discovered all of our diamond patterns played right into everything we did, especially yesterday. My goodness, yesterday. This is kind of going to be interesting how this old, big old diamond bottom at the bottom of this trend here set up for this angular support line right here. Interesting that we kind of ended the day right on top of that, right? But we've also ended the day on a compression zone of an old diamond from the last week. And we traded through the M top. We had our own diamond in there. I've turned those purple because they were kind of significant in that they were setting the trend for yesterday's motion, but also we had the limits from yesterday's price action just in this guy here. We had this extension up here. Price went right to that sucker on that little pop before J Powell took the mic. And then we had the bottom edge of that range. Run this line down. Dude, that's where we closed yesterday. And that is insane. I mean, I had to do a double take on it. I was like, what? And we've been here before. We found an exact same setup minus the M top. We just had a breakover or a breakout, fake out, and then break over on Jackson Hole Day. And the diamond predicted the range perfectly. Not just like a little bit. It was perfect then, too. So that diamond pattern, man, don't ignore those. And when you see them, draw them all the way as far as you can reach those lines out. And, man, they are freaking phenomenal. It's spotting the range.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And it's amazing.
It is such an easy way to just see your price action. And then, like the past couple of days when I've been trading those moves, man, I've been trading garbage and chop that no one would touch with options on SPY, right? I went ahead and, the other day, the open, we saw that rejection. It was pretty clean. Traded that on down. Knew where the rest point was right in here. Traded the rest of that down. And then I went into the ES, and I was in the zone, dude. I just kept nailing all these little three-pointers up and down, up and down. Every time it turned around, I knew there was a setup on a 10-second chart that I could trade. And I can't even count how many times I traded that day. And then yesterday, man, I was trading all this chop here. And then I kind of stopped trading a little bit in this upswing. I waited for this to reject up here. I got short on like one
bear.
10-second candles, boom, and I kid you not, I hit the market buy button, and by the time I got the mouse over to the exit at market button, trade was done. About 1.8 seconds is what that trade lasted for, and it was done. And that was it was a 22-point move on the ES. That was
What?
sick. So,
Yeah, it was great.
and
It was
then
wonderful.
I
I got some of that.
oh yeah, dude, we all
We
just
were trading together.
we were killing it. And this whole
That was a
trend,
blast.
all of this stuff was so easy to spot on a 10-second chart. We were just destroying that yesterday. And let me get that on a 1-minute chart because that was pretty significant, man. When we were walking through that whole thing, we were literally just staring at our 1-minute chart and trading the 10-second chart and just walking every stinking reversal in this trend down in this
Yeah,
tightening
using
descending
one to
wedge.
walk the other.
Exactly. And man, we were happy yesterday, dude.
It was a blast.
And
What
to,
did
was
the
definitely
what did the
blast.
fractal pattern come up like comparative to the 1 minute on the 10-second?
so the 10-second,
Were there?
we were seeing channels mostly on these, and
Uh-huh.
when they would channel down and set up measured moves, we would have little pauses for the measured move. We knew about the size of the measured move, like we had the upswing here, upswing here. This was like 1.5 leg, and then we got the full leg on top of that. I remember I was having a little trouble seeing it. I'm like, aha, this is going to be a full half full, and it was. And then when we hit the top, we went short, broke over on angular resistance here, and just we just all these little substructures were just perfect little channel breaks, almost all of them. Look at this straight bar down.
Oh,
We've
really?
got a little retracement here, straight bar
channel
down.
break. Wow.
Yep.
That's so cool. I see what you're talking about there.
Those channel breaks over and over and over again on a 1-minute chart. You can't really see them, but on a 10-second
Well, I
chart,
mean,
man,
it's
they
like
stand out.
it's like right in the middle, right there.
Yeah,
You got that channel break. That's what it would look like on the 10-second, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like looking at this as a channel. I mean,
Yeah.
we
That's
were
that's
seeing
exactly
them.
yeah, and then that little break right there.
Yep.
Channel break. Bam.
Pop up, and then you get the 50% retrace. You tip it short and run it down. It was that
Wow.
easy, and it was just like calm, collective, relaxed trading for me. I mean, it was
Nice, man.
pretty awesome.
It was
In
just
fact,
a lot of it.
later on when
Yeah,
I
he did a lot of it.
later on when
a
I
lot of it. He told me how many. I was like, what?
yeah,
I said the same thing. I said, you did how much?
That's a lot of trades. I mean, that's the number that people hit in like a couple months sometimes. And they're like, I gotta back off.
right.
Well, and like Jeremy said earlier, this isn't something that just anybody can do. This is 5 years of intense training
Yeah.
and trading and learning. And so you also have a personality. You have a certain way of doing things. I called you Evil Knievel today. Too many young folks probably don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But it's a daredevil. The guy's got he likes speed metal, he likes the Ramones, he likes he stoppies on a bike at 44 years old, get on a skateboard. Not everybody can do that,
No.
but you make it look easy. And that's what we were talking about earlier. So someone who's a new trader can get the wrong impression and think they can just jump in there and do this. And it's not possible.
It's not the way it works.
No, you've got the repetition in, you've got the skill, you've got the head knowledge now, and the experience. So when you're watching the chart, we're all sitting there following you, and some folks are going, holy cow, how's he doing that so fast? Because you see it that way, but you live that way. So not everybody can do that.
Well, the other thing is
trading, but it's great because you show us that it's humanly possible.
And it's
if you are human.
The biggest thing that was left out of that was discipline. Period.
Discipline.
You've got to control every aspect of any remote emotional response to what you're doing and just be in a zone and do it, and it's just that is such a hard thing to learn to get over, to that discipline. But when you do, man, it just click, aha, you get the light coming on.
Jeremy, the other thing that you do is you stick to a small account for the most part, and you work that into a larger account, and then that spills over into your long-term investments.
Yep.
And then you start over. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Start with a small account, something where you have PDT rule. Once you get proficient enough to build that, then you're proficient enough to do everything that you're doing, basically.
Right, you build it a step at a time. You add proficiency here and there until you've got, like that box full of tools. You can pick a tool for any market condition and run with it.
Yeah.
And then I'll plug it in the description after I edit the live stream today. I'm going to put a link to an article that I wrote called "Relaxed Trading," and that thing, writing that article changed my trading. It changed my ability to trade efficiently and effectively and just be completely in the zone. Just writing that article did that. It changed me from being somewhat nervous about trading to being just absolutely confident over just the point of finishing writing that. I'm like, I read it back to myself. I'm like, holy cow, this is awesome. So I'm gonna tag that article in the description later on. So look for that.
That's an excellent article. I didn't realize you wrote it till after you told me you were a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
And that was an excellent article. And yesterday, I was having a blast. I was super relaxed, and we were doing that, and I was scalping too, and not as much as Jeremy, but I was digging the scene with a gangsta lean.
There you go. Get some NWA in the mix there. Digging the scene with the gangsta lean. All right, I don't know who said that. That probably wasn't NWA, but anyway.
Old soul song.
Ah, okay.
Old R&B.
R&B is better. I'm too much. I'm very diversified in my music choices. I listen to some old gangster rap too. 90s stuff, 90s hip hop. Metal is. I get on a kick with metal every now and then, but I don't listen to it all the time. I get back into like classic oldies. I get into the blues. I even listen to stuff that I know someone who's played very, very well, and I recognize musical talent. And you've got a lot of paraphrasing that you do with musical talent in this whole thing, this price action thing, and you can kind of see the upbeats, the downbeats, the transitions. I mean,
the changes.
Yeah, you get the chord changes, turnarounds, the boxes, all
of
the
stuff. Melody.
And it's great that you can relate that because it's like you're literally seeing a rhythm here. It looks like static to a lot of people, but you're literally seeing a rhythm here, and it comes through.
It comes from tracking in a studio. You see everything. You see a score of music. You're reading the score. Everything's right in front of you. And when you're in the studio and you're tracking, you're looking at sound waves, right?
Right.
And then you've got to put them in the right spot and different things like that. So to me,
this is so cool.
I love this.
And then
I didn't know you got to see your wavelength as well when you're in.
Oh yeah. Now the digital age, you do.
Yeah.
So you play it while you're watching your wavelength.
No. When you're mixing it together.
When you're doing the mix, okay.
Yeah.
So
you can see the wavelength.
I thought you were saying like while you were playing.
Oh no.
I wanted it.
You could do that. If you were sitting there looking at it, you'd see.
Yeah.
I wanted to use that to lead into something else that you said yesterday that was profound, and this is cool. You were able to take a very complex song and slow it down without changing the pitch of the notes in it. And there's a machine to do that with, to where you can slow it down and analyze it and play it one note at a time, slow, get it nice and clean and tight, and then once you've got it, you just speed it up. And that plays into exactly what we do. We start slow, play one note at a time, build it into the whole riff, and just speed it up. So
I'm trying to think of modern day guitar players that folks would know of. Well, let me just say Prince. Prince was a fantastic guitarist.
Dude,
he was a freaking beast of a guitar player. Yeah, you don't think that he just picked it up and then started going, flying at the end of whatever that song was that he took that massive guitar ride. He didn't just pick it up and start doing that. No, it took time. He had to build up to it.
That took a while.
Maybe not as long as some people because he was Prince. Yeah, he was a genius. But, it takes time to build up to that. So a 10-second chart, you didn't start on the 10-second chart. Nope. You were doing 200 tick when you started futures.
For a little while.
Yeah, for a little while. But then you started getting to that 10-second chart practice, and you practiced it. And you were seeing the structure super fast, on a 10-second chart. You got 6 candles. That's a 1 minute candle.
Yep.
You're like, oh, yep, no, wait, it's going here. And we listen to you. And sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, Jeremy, are you looking at a 10-second chart? Because I'm like looking at a 1 minute going, that's not doing that.
And that's the
Jeremy,
thing.
where did you originally start though?
So I started.
What did you start doing?
I started with the penny stocks. Really, I started with that 1 and 5 minute chart, and that was just where I focused for my trades. But I would always verify the longer term price action, where all the pivot points were, where all the points of control were. Looking left on the 2-hour chart, the daily chart. Sometimes I'll even use a weekly chart to make trades. But I always come back and focus tighter and tighter and tighter, and where I'm actually trading in the mix after I put all the different dope on my chart, all these lines and stuff. On the longer terms, I can go and trade minute by minute and trade between the trend lines, trade between the pivot lines, trade in the control areas. I mean, the range candles will tell you a lot of stuff. And it's just a matter of picking exactly what you're seeing on the longer term charts down to a level where you can get little bits of it, pieces of it here and there. And you take all these little base hits, all these little pieces, these little trades, and they add up, dude. So as you're learning, you can take these little base hits and start with like 1 or 2 good trades a day on a setup that's just clean. Learn that over and over and over again.
Stone says you don't have to trade 10, 100 shares. You can trade one.
One on a sub-dime stock. We've been looking at COMS, COMS, and trading range on that. That thing is a freaking beast. It's funny.
Well, I think you got to trade more than one share then on.
Yeah. I mean, do 20 or 100 or something of that one. But
it's freaking 6 cents.
It's kind of neat because like you take something in there and yesterday while we were scalping all the stuff with the FOMC meeting leading up to that point, we took an 8.5% return on comms at like 6.5 cents, got out at like 8.5 cents. Just easy charting. I mean, I could have did it in my sleep. It was so slow, but I was like able to help a lot of our members just kind of figure that out. Be like, hey, look, support 6.5 cents. I'm going to load up there, and I'm going to target the top of the resistance in that control zone. And this was on a 1 minute chart. I'm seeing a control candle, and it was right up to like 8.5 cents. And I was like, cool, we can nail that. We'll run for that as a secondary target. We'll trade the mix when we see the signal to get out. We get out, and we scalped a quick 8.5% out of that. Didn't quite hit the target in that. It pulled back later and then hit the 8.5. But in between the 6.5 and 8.5, we took a scalp out of that and made an 8.5% return in minutes. I mean, that's impressive all in itself in a stock trading at 6.5 pennies, And it's fun because I go and I can go scalp the ES and run that, just trade after trade after trade. And then I can go back and look at a penny and be like, boom, 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 done. It's just, you go back to it and it's just like riding a bike. So like you go and you pick off a penny that is just setting up. And if you catch it in time and you know what to look for, it's just an instant trade idea right in your mind. Your lizard brain just does it.
Yep. But it takes years.
It takes years.
People overestimate what they can do in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can do in 5.
That's a brilliant statement.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, man. So anyway, we're going to start talking to some important people next week, and it's gonna be a little bit of a different format that we're gonna do. There's room for 4 people on this screen, realistically. So we're gonna switch the weekly analysis to the midday on Mondays, and it can be Devin, Stone, and myself. And we'll produce something similar to this. We'll get our witty banter involved. We'll drop some knowledge. We'll drop some wisdom. We'll go through the SPY chart primarily and just kind of analyze what we expect from the market, what we saw last week, where we see the levels going in next week, and kind of give you guys some good ideas. But starting next Thursday, we're kind of twisting it up a little bit, and we're going to be talking to if you guys have ever heard of Chris Barrios, we're going to be talking to him, and we're going to be talking to Creed from Money.net at the same time, and having that kind of caliber of and different ends of the spectrum type of people in one place to talk to live on YouTube, dude, we've come a long way to get there, baby. Let me tell you. and that is going to be amazing. We're just head over heels and infatuated with the prestige of being able to say that is pretty awesome. But that's pretty cool. That's what we're looking at next week. So around this time next week, come check us out. Tell your friends about it if you're watching now, or if you watch the rerun later. We're going to be live with Chris Barrios on our screen, and we're going to be asking some pretty neat questions and talking about some pretty neat things that we would like to do and help out a lot of people who are kind of amateur traders who might have got into a position that they haven't unwound yet, and they're holding a bag of something, and we're about teaching an income generating strategy on a bag position that you can use to lower the cost basis without averaging down. And it is amazing how it works, but it takes a little time to learn this strategy. And when you do, all of a sudden you figure out how to bring your high cost stock position down to an affordable level where you're eventually matching where price is now, and you can decide, do I want to close this? Do I want to keep generating income on it? It gives you some options, but it makes it so either you don't lose or you don't lose as much. And that's going to be great to be able to bring that to a lot of people who I know are stuck holding some bags of some things.
Good stuff.
Right on.
Really good stuff. I like what Night 5 said. It took me years to realize trading has a formula and methods. And when I realized that, factored in risk points, I developed a much more profitable plan.
Yes.
Good
Awesome. Good stuff.
I'm trying to find a good emoji to put up there here. How about this one? Love that.
Awesome. Well, we're excited about things come. Awesome.
Heck yeah. It's going to be a great turn of events next week. And like I said, we're going to keep bringing it. And if you guys like what we do and you want to see more, we're bringing stuff every day. And then on Thursdays, we're doing the after hours thing. And then we're going to do things a little differently next Thursday, but we're going to bring this show over to the middle of the day on Monday, and we'll make sure we put it out there, and we'll bring it with the same quality that you guys like today. So,
absolutely.
All right, who's gonna ring us out?
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Absolutely.
Ring my bell.
Ring my bell.
Ring my bell. All right, guys.
We'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful time.
Ciao, everybody.